Now, some conversations don't necessarily fall apart because they're wrong. They fall apart because somebody didn't expect to be challenged. And what you're about to see right here, this ain't just a conversation. This is one of those moments where the script, it just didn't go the way it was supposed to go.
Myself a black conservative. I consider myself a black man who is an independent that leans left on some things and leans right. That's me. That's how I think about myself. But
you can't be that way, Stephen A.
I believe I can. I believe I can. Answer, I will gladly come on your show. We can argue about that all day, every day, bro.
I can't wait.
I can't. Oh, come on. Oh, please, man. All you got to do is say a word. You say the word.
I can't wait.
You say the word, I will come on your show. It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all.
That. You could do that in sports. You can't do that in popular culture and politics.
Because why?
People in the middle get ran over.
Says who?
One side or the other.
45% of the U.S. population is independent right now. I would beg to differ on that. It's climbing. I don't consider myself a black.
All right. See. Man. Stephen A., I don't think he came in too crazy, right? I think he asked somewhat of a fair question. Right? We can agree to that. But sometimes the problem ain't really the question. It's what happens when you don't get the answer that you expected. Because there's a clear difference between asking and being ready to hear something that you don't agree with. And that's where things get uncomfortable.
What do you think about black women that voted for Trump?
I think they were misled, as were most people who voted for him, who were not these crazy MAGA people. And now we're all regretting that, unfortunately. That's it.
Well, I'm a black woman who voted for Trump, and I don't regret it. I'm really happy.
You are really happy about what's happening?
I mean, what exactly are you talking about?
Tell us.
Sure, yeah, they're taking a lot of criminals off the streets. I'm hoping that what he's doing in D.C., he's going to soon do in New York, because I know a lot of our neighborhoods are overrun with crime, drugs, homelessness.
I'm hearing that most of the people that are being scooped up are not criminals. Many of them are here legally and working, and they're just swept up off their jobs.
Can you name one person that you know of who was legally here and was deported by Trump?
No. I think this conversation's over.
Why? Why do you guys want to stop talking to me when I start having a conversation with you?
Because I think you're provocative and very biased.
It has to do with the fact that you're happy with him. We're just appalled, frankly.
Oh, wow. Well, the truth finally came out. You see what happens every time? I'm telling y'all. Asking how or why, or asking anybody on the left, a Democrat, to get them just more detail always results into this. Oh, you know what? You're evil. You got to go. You're being dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Every single time. Shorty is literally, like, did you catch that? Because Shorty is literally telling her real life experience, and somebody jumps in to correct her life like it's a typo. Not debater, not questioner, just overrider. That's not disagreement. That's, I know better than what you're actually living. And once you start doing that, you're not having conversations anymore. You're just managing people.
So when Trump goes about the business of at least appearing to, the Smithsonian Museum and stuff like that, and basically trying to block access in some people's eyes to black history and stuff like that, you don't have any issues with things of that nature? You don't find yourself questioning anything about Trump that makes you say, now that's not necessary. You don't need to do that. Or, anything that'll make you say, I don't think he's looking out for the black community nearly as much as he should. Nothing at all. Of course,
I think that he's done more for the black community than any president before him, especially in my lifetime. Like, it's a regular question. It's an ongoing question. Before I even start to address Trump and how he permanently funded HBCUs, while he's working on birthright citizenship, that's literally that was for slaves. That shouldn't even exist at this point. How he created opportunity zones in his first election, in his first term in office, in order for us to invest in our own communities. We can go down the line on different things that he's done specifically for black people. The better question is when you compare and contrast and you pay attention to somebody like a Barack Obama, who's endeared to the black community because he can sing. I love his jeans. He wears mom jeans and he's a smooth brother. But when you ask yourself the question, what specifically did he do for black people? You come up with nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. So how can we hold Trump to a standard that we don't even hold the
But you
first
just
black
acknowledged
president of the
earlier.
United States of America?
But you just acknowledged earlier what Obama inherited. You understand what I'm saying? And you could get to the
but he
Affordable
was in
Care Act,
office for
24
8
million
years.
people. I'm sorry, 24 million additional people on have healthcare insurance. You could put. Some people will point to that. Some people will point to that.
Healthcare the healthcare system as it stands today. The
It's
Department
bad
of
now.
Education as it stands today. It is all horrible. It is bad. And again, we diverting away from the question, what specifically did he do for black people? Because we hold Trump to a standard that we don't even hold Obama to.
That's good.
Nobody can point to one thing. I could tell you what he did for the LGBTQ community, though.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
My boy, Stephen A. over there. Yep. Nothing to say, huh? Now, this is what, again, the needle moves. Because you can disagree with that statement all day. You can do that, I'm telling you. But you can't ignore what the conversation, what this does to the conversation, right? It forces people to stop speaking in saved, rehearsed answers. You know what I'm saying? And it starts dealing with results versus perception. Y'all know how they feel about that. Because once that door opens, you don't get to pick and choose what comes through it.
When we sit here and we look at the quote unquote wealth gap, if you really do your due diligence and you study, you'll realize that we demonize and we make the person a litmus, the person that we're chasing, white people. I will tell you that all you got to do is look at the census and look at the income inequalities. And I will tell you that white people are not ahead of us that much. They're about right here. The real people that's generating the most revenue and the highest household income on average are Indians and Asians. It's not white people. So why do we use white people as the scapegoat or as a measuring stick for what it is that we need to do and automatically qualifying them? Because I can tell you when I was in my software engineering classes, there were no black people. All of them was going into business. All of them was doing marketing and all of them was doing a bunch of stuff that they wasn't really trying to do because it was easy for them to stay in school and still qualify for their student aid. They're not picking STEM fields. We're not picking the right curriculums. We're not going into healthcare. We want to always take the shortcut as a culture. And that's why I say that the culture is trash. It's not black people. It's the thing that we celebrate the most that ultimately is the thing that holds us back. The culture is toxic and we push it and we promote it. And as long as we continue to believe that it's systematic things that's holding us back, then we'll never get to the place that we're supposed to be at.
I know that's right.
So essentially, I'm willing to concede, first of all, that everything that you just said.
I wish they would have had the clip extend beyond that because they cut off his response. But this right here is what, again, people start getting tight. Whew. Because now we're not just talking politics here. We're talking outcomes. We're talking numbers. We're talking behaviors. We're talking things you can't just wave off with a slogan. And the second the conversation moves from feelings to actually showing them patterns, the problems within the culture and the rhetoric, the mindset, a lot of people, after you do that, they don't want to play no more.
When you decided to support Trump in 2024, what was it about the MAGA movement that made you support it? Was it the fact that you are, as you described, or was there something different transpiring in 2024 that you saw compelled you to gravitate towards that?
Well, the first thing is I felt like the election was stolen from him in 2020. There's no way that anybody can convince me that Joe Biden is the most popular president of all time and he got over 81 million votes. I'm not going for it. The second thing is that I start to take a deeper look at my own life, right? Because especially as black people in the community, we taught to automatically vote Democrat regardless because we black, right?
Yeah.
But when I started to deep dive into the things that Democrats stood for, it wasn't the fact that Republicans or Trump or MAGA first got my attention. the first thing that got my attention is the things that I didn't align with the party that I had been voting for based
Right.
off of what my family told me to do, right? I don't believe in
Gotcha.
men and women's bathrooms. I don't believe in, a lot of the stuff, my dollars going to the federal government and letting them manage my money more than I can. I believe
Okay.
in smaller government. I believe in spirituality. I believe in a lot of the things. And so when I started to figure out, what are we doing? Why am I voting this way? I started to explore, what about Trump didn't I like? And I realized that it was more propaganda that was fed to me and that, he was supposedly be racist and all of this stuff. And then I started to evaluate every other president that came before him. And I realized that he's just a quote unquote straight shooter, right? I mean, he just tells it like it is, regardless of whether you agree with him or not. And most of the things that he said, I aligned with.
I like how you use straight shooter. Because now we're in a whole different territory right now. Because once you bring, that into the conversation, it's not, just about policy anymore. It's about trust, right? Trust in systems, trust in outcomes, trust in what you've been told to believe, And once people start questioning that, you don't get calm conversations anymore. You're going to get some friction. Now, let's go ahead and take it back to a previous interaction that our guy Stephen A. had.
I told him with Trump, let it go. What you trying to put him in jail for? They did everything they could to prevent him from being the president. Trump ain't going after these people, man, because of the election. He going after these people because they tried to get him to spend the rest of his life in fucking prison. He approaching 80 years old and you tried to throw him behind bars. He coming. Like, wait a minute. You motherfuckers smile in my face. You come into my casinos. You come into the hotel. Y'all all know we all sportsmen. We saw Trump at all the sporting events. We were all cool with him. We weren't calling him racist then. So it's like he looking at it and he going like, yo, these motherfuckers trying to put me in prison. They ain't trying to get me. Like, okay, January 6th, insurrection, all of that. Fine. All right, I leave. Y'all, y'all confirm Biden gonna be your president. I'm out. And you still coming for me. You trying to throw me in prison. The charges in New York. And what was the charge in New York? Oh, let's remind ourselves of this. 34 felony counts and all of this shit. It came down to $130,000 that he spent in hush money to a prostitute, a porn star, the porn star, Stormy Daniels or whatever her name is. So I'm going like this. Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that, but we simplify shit in the streets. All right. So he was fucking around with a porn star. And he wanted to keep her mouth shut. So it didn't ruin his chances at the election in 2016. And y'all trying to tell me that ain't normal? Seriously? So none of y'all. I guess John Edwards, when he had the baby out of wedlock and he tried to hide it and get caught, he didn't try to bail. I guess Gary Hart, when he had the mistress on the boat in the 80s, he didn't get caught.
Sold the chair in Chicago.
There you go. What about Clinton in the Oval Office? Clinton in the Oval Office.
Wiener.
Who the hell was volunteer?
Wiener.
Wiener.
Wiener. This is what everything connects though. Because now it's not just left versus right. It's who gets targeted and why. The question that they hate on the other side. And whether you agree or not, that perspective, it definitely exists. And it's growing. And the more people feel like something is being done to them, the less they care about being told how they're supposed to feel about it.
I want you to take a minute and look what I'm seeing. With everything that's going on in this country today, this is a beautiful sight. This means something to me, and it should mean something to everybody in this country. Matter of fact, everybody around the world. We need to set an example for everybody to follow. Come on. Let's get back to being united.
I'm over vibing to the beaches. Look, At the end of the day, this ain't really about Stephen A. Smith. It's not even about Anton Daniels. It's about something way simpler than that. People are starting to say, let me speak for myself. Not through a party, not through a headline, not through somebody interrupting them, Abby Phillips style, mid-sentence. Just them. And when that starts happening, you get less control, but you get more truth, for sure. And depending on where you stand, that's either freeing or terrifying. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to put freeing. You know, y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You could be saving their life. Peace.